All right. So Henri Matisse was a French artist. He's one of my favorite painters. Henri Matisse was one of the most important painters of the 20th century. He was said he wanted his artwork to give people pleasure and be soothing, kind of like a comfortable armchair you can rest in after a hard day's work. All right. Henri Matisse's greatest work do just that, what he wanted, by perfectly balancing simple shapes and beautiful colors. His paintings seem to make you feel good all over, like chicken pot pie or something. Like home cooking is his artwork. Sometimes Henry added decorative lines and colorful patterns to his paintings. He often let the plain white in the canvas show through in the spots to give his colors bright, sparkling feel. Henri Matisse was born in the north of France in 1869. Unlike most great artists, Henry didn't show the least interest in art while he was growing up. His parents owned a general store that sold seeds, grain, and household goods. Henry's father expected him to either work at the store or become a lawyer when he grew up. Henry ended up going to law school, but found it really boring. It wasn't until Henry was 20 years old that he discovered how much he loved art. While Henry was recovering from a very serious illness called appendicitis, his mother gave him a box of paint so he would have something to do. So it was him being sick that made him start doing art. All right. We've come to see how poor Henry is doing. We've heard he's very sick. I think he's feeling better. This was the most important moment in Henri Matisse's life. Suddenly, he was no longer bored. Henry found out that he loved to paint. He was in bed painting, all right? After he got better, Henry got a job as an assistant lawyer in his town. He took some art courses early in the morning before work started. He was spending more and more time drawing and painting. Yahoo! I'm no longer bored. I don't think he sounded like that, but that's what it says in the book. All right, Henry even painted flowers on legal documents he was supposed to file away. It didn't take long for Henry to decide to become a full-time artist. Henry's parents weren't very happy about his decision. His father especially was upset. But these are some legal books that Henry painted. All right. Henry was so excited, though, that he finally talked to his parents into letting him study art at a famous art school in Paris, France. I wonder what that art school might be. Because Henri Matisse didn't become interested in art until he was an adult, he had a lot of catching up to do. He worked very hard studying all the things he would need to know about to be a good artist. He learned about things like figure drawing, perspective, and composition. These are things I'm going to be teaching you guys in art class. All right. During Henri Matisse's time, art schools taught students to paint in a style that everybody was used to seeing. These schools believed in certain rules that hadn't changed in years. Art students were instructed to paint carefully drawn figures and objects in dark colors, like the paintings on the next page. Although Henry enjoyed making these works, he kept thinking there might be something new he could do to freshen up his own paintings. Henry had a pretty rough time at art school. He failed some important exams and didn't get along with most of his teachers. Fortunately, one of Henry's teachers took a special interest in him. Gustave Moreau was sure Henri Matisse could become a great artist someday. Gustave encouraged Henry to try new things and use his imagination as much as possible. It's my job as a teacher to teach you guys that you can be great artists, and you have a long way to go. Matisse often traveled to find new and interesting things to paint. He usually went to places that were bright and sunny. What places do you think he went to that were bright and sunny? Maybe the south of France, maybe the south of Italy. On one trip, he was introduced to an impressionist named John Russell. Henry became very interested in the way Russell used bright dabs of color. All right. Now, today's lesson is going to be about lines. So as we look at all of this artwork, I want you to think about what lines you see. Are they rough lines? Are they long lines? Are they rugged lines? Are they thick? Are they short? What to make of these lines? Henry began to study other Impressionist painters like Claude Monet and Camille Pissarro. Soon, he began to add more colors in his own paintings. In the dinner table, Henry added beautiful flecks of color to flowers, fruit, and glassware. This was the beginning of a whole new style of painting for Henry. All right, can everybody see that? Henri Matisse loved new colors he put in his paintings. He decided to leave art school and try painting on his own. As he went along, his colors became brighter and brighter and brighter. For a while, he tried using hundreds of brushstrokes of bright colors. All right, and this is a painting he did with bright, bright colors. All right. Some of Henri Matisse's friends thought his new paintings were great. One of them, Paul Signac, liked the painting below so much that he bought it from Henry. But Henry wasn't satisfied with his new style. He wanted to experiment with color and try using larger shapes and thick lines of paint to make his works even more expressive. Art. During the years Henry was experimenting with his art, he wasn't able to sell many. Paintings at all. Henry was married by the time he and his wife, Amélie, had 2 sons. Henry also had a daughter from a previous relationship. Amélie did everything she could to help her husband. Besides raising their family, she also modeled for Henry and worked in a hat shop to make extra money. The Matisses were so poor and hungry at the time that Henry said he often was tempted to eat the fruit he used as models for his still life paintings. That's pretty funny, right? So there's a stereotype oftentimes that say artists don't make money, or artists can't provide for themselves, or starving artists is a term. How's your new paintings coming along, my dear? I'm not sure. Something seems to be missing. It's the actual fruit here. So that's a funny joke. I'll tell you more about myself. Art made me happy, and I was tempted to not go into the art field because I didn't think that there would be money in the art field. And then I had to choose being happy or making money. And teaching you guys and being in the art field made me happy, and the money came. So I enjoy. It's an honor and a privilege to be your teacher. In 1905, Matisse and some artist friends entered their latest colorful paintings in a show. These paintings started an uproar. These look really, really cool. All right. People were shocked. They thought these artists just slopped wild colors on the canvas. They were especially angry about Henry's painting of Amélie wearing a hat. Some people were so insulted that they wanted to destroy the painting. A writer who saw the show named the artist the Fauves, a French word that means wild beasts. It didn't seem like a very nice name, but Henry and his friends didn't really mind it much. So Henry was in a group of artists that were all doing fresh, hip colors. All right, and in today's lessons, we're going to use lines and a lot of bright colors to make a splash, similar to how Henry did. I don't know Matisse. I don't like the looks of it to the Fauve show. So they actually, the true story or the bigger story behind this is that they moved all of their works into a separate room in a separate section because it was so different from everybody else's work. All right. The Fauve period lasted only a short time for Henri Matisse. He was more interested in looking at new ways to improve his art. Henry started to move away from the bright clashing colors he used in a portrait of Matisse. He began to use a calmer colors and lots of decorative lines. In the joy of life, Henry was able to create a more soothing dream world kind of painting. So you can see the difference between this work and this work. All right. You see the difference? All right. One of his many trips, Henry visited Algeria, Africa. So when I said earlier, I wonder what warm places he went. I was wondering if he went to Africa because a lot of the warm places near Europe is northern Africa. So it shows that he went to Algeria, which is also a French-speaking country as well. Sunny North African country. Henry saw lots of exciting designs on carpets, wallpapers, and people clothing there. He began to add these decorative designs to his paintings. In harmony and red, Henry used these designs to arrange the flat surface of his painting. It's interesting to compare this painting to the earlier one shown on page 17. It's about the same subject, but looks very different. In 1908, a very wealthy businessman named Sergei Shnukin bought Harmony in Red. Not many people understood Henri Matisse's painting at the time, but Sergei loved almost everything Henry painted. In 1910, Sergei asked Henry to do a large painting for the hallway in his mansion. All right, so this is a very famous painting that you all should know about. All right, we're almost done. So this right here is really famous, and I think this may be in the Phillips collection right here in Washington, D.C. All right, Henri Matisse, or it was in the Phillips collection in Washington, D.C. Henri Matisse created Dance for a Large Hallway. It was one of the most important paintings of the modern times. Henry used very simple flat shapes and bright colors. He chose the bluest of blues for the sky and the greenest of greens for the earth. He used red for the dancers to show their energy without using any of the carefully drawn figures, perspective, or natural colors used by artists of the past. Henri Matisse was able to show the excitement and the joy of life. The dancers seemed like they're about to burst out of the pictures at any moment. All right. Thank you guys for being patient. We're almost done. This is the last page I'll be reading. In his later years, when most artists start to slow down, Henri Matisse surprised people by creating art that was fresher and more colorful than before. When he was older and had trouble standing at the easel, Henry switched to a new form of art that could be done sitting down. Henry cut out shapes from the brightly colored paper to make some of the most exciting art ever. And his art is currently in the National Gallery of Art. So if that opens up soon, I hope we can do a field trip there for you to see that art in person. Henry cut out shapes from brightly colored paper to make some of the most exciting art ever. Henry said it was like drawing with scissors and sculpting with color. Henri Matisse lived to be 84 years old. By the time he died, his artwork was known all over the world. So we are going to be using lines to create artwork today. All right. For this synchronous lesson, I would like you to create a work of art based on Henri Matisse's life using lines and colors. Last week we did our hand. You can do...
Mr. Hickey, you're muted.